There is a man sitting at the far end of a conference table. 12 people are talking. Some are shouting. Some are laughing too loudly at their own jokes. Presentations flash across screens. Voices collide like waves. And he has not said a single word in 45 minutes. He just watches. His eyes move slowly from face to face. He takes a note. He sets his pen down. Then, at the exact moment the room reaches its loudest point, he clears his throat. Just once. The room goes completely silent. And what he says next, in less than 30 seconds, changes the direction of the entire company. He didn't yell. He didn't demand. He didn't even stand. So how did he do it? And more importantly, why do the people who say the least often end up meaning the most? Let's go back. Not to the boardroom, not yet. To a smaller room in a smaller city, where a different story was quietly unfolding. It's 1987. A mid-sized manufacturing plant on the outskirts of Cincinnati, Ohio. Early morning mist clings to the parking lot. Fluorescent lights flicker inside, unsure if the day has started yet. The plant makes machine components, brake parts mostly. Work essential, invisible, often unnoticed until something breaks. About 300 people work here. Most for years, some for decades. The plant manager, Gerald Hicks, is loud, fast, commanding. Volume equals authority. Meetings are controlled chaos. Decisions go to the loudest voice. Production is adequate, not extraordinary. Into this environment walks Thomas Aldrin, 32, quiet, unassuming. Medium height, medium build, navy blue shirt every day. He doesn't joke, doesn't slap backs, doesn't command attention. He listens. He remembers. He observes. On his first day, Gerald gives him the usual loud, fast tour. At the end, Gerald asks, "Any questions?" Thomas pauses, just long enough to make it noticeable, and asks one question. "Who do people turn to on this floor when they have a problem they don't want to bring to management?" Gerald laughs, shrugs. Odd question. But Thomas already has the answer in mind. May, a woman standing by the East Assembly line, quietly helping 3 workers already today. She hadn't sought them out. They came to her. Thomas finds her before lunch. That was day 1. What most people miss. Our culture rewards noise. The loudest voice is strong. The talker is engaged. Volume has become synonymous with power. But those who truly change things, who shape companies, culture, history, are often not the loudest. They are the most observant, the most patient, the most disciplined in using a resource we can never create more of: attention. Because silence allows you to see. When you talk, you're telling. When you are quiet, you are learning. Observing gestures, pauses, micro-reactions. Noticing what is said and what isn't. Thomas understood this instinctively. Growing up in a house where few listened, he learned to read people like a sailor reads weather, from posture, tone, and subtle gestures. On the floor, May became his first informant, not because he asked directly but because he listened, observed, and cared enough to notice. This is the first skill of the silent leader. Make people feel heard. People who feel heard tell the truth. Over 3 months, Thomas said almost nothing in meetings. Gerald found it unsettling, this quiet observer in the corner. But Thomas was building a map, not of machines but of human terrain. Pressure points, loyalties, hidden talents, quiet resentments. His silence wasn't passivity. It was preparation. 6 months in, the plant receives a massive contract. 50,000 brake components in 14 weeks. The room erupts. Shouting, panic, competing ideas. Thomas sits quietly. Writes one word: May. 3 days later, he walks the lines, asking one simple question to each worker. What would make this easier for you? Not what's wrong, not how do we fix it, just what would make this easier? Answers flow slowly. Curtis points out a shift handoff problem. Rosa highlights a storage bin issue. Tiny, invisible friction points overlooked by everyone else. Thomas writes it all down. No promises, no fanfare. That weekend, he builds a precise plan of 15 small, targeted improvements. Presented to Gerald on a single page, handwritten. Gerald is skeptical. Thomas says, "I think it's the right place to start." Result? The plant delivers 4 days early. Quality rejection rate, 0.3%, the best in 12 years. Thomas doesn't seek credit. He claps quietly in the third row. Because the goal was never recognition, it was outcome. Silent leaders play a different game, measured not in applause but in the slow accumulation of trust. What they do that others don't. Over time, Thomas's reputation grows, not loud, not flashy, but undeniable. Workers seek him out because one thing always happens when you talk to him: you feel like the most important person in the room. True listening requires suspension of self. Not thinking about your next words, not redirecting, not judging, just presence. Rare in a world built on distraction. Second, follow through. Promises are kept. Small commitments are honored. Every action reinforces trust. Silent leaders master these twin disciplines: presence and reliability. These are the building blocks of quiet influence. Third, they observe the emotional currents of a room. Subtle changes in posture, tone, micro-expressions. These small signals tell them where resistance lives, where energy flows, where action is needed. Thomas's quiet power shows in small, almost invisible ways. When a new hire struggles, he doesn't criticize. He quietly mentors. When a supervisor misses a small but critical step, he doesn't shout. He leaves a note and follows up later. When conflict arises, he doesn't intervene immediately. He watches, listens, and steps in only when the solution is clear. These micro moments accumulate. Influence is not demanded, it is granted. Respect is not announced, it is earned. Silent leaders understand that every interaction is a test of attention, patience, and trust. They win not in spectacle, but in the quiet victories of observation, subtle guidance, and impeccable follow-through. What can we learn from Thomas Aldrin and silent leaders everywhere? Listen first. Presence is power. Notice what others overlook. Observe deeply. Watch micro-behaviors. Understand motivations and friction points. Act deliberately. Every word and action carries weight. Use it wisely. Empower others. Quiet leaders create space for others to shine. Influence multiplies when ego is restrained. Measure success by outcomes, not recognition. True power is the result of action, not applause. The quietest person in the room often has the greatest effect. Not by noise, but by precision. Not by claiming the spotlight, but by understanding the space around them. So next time you see someone silent in a meeting, a room, or a crowd, notice them. Watch, listen, learn. They may not speak much, but when they do, their words, their actions, and their presence can change everything. Because the power of silence is not absence, it is mastery.